Tonight we have a British record producer flying the flag, and indeed an audio engineer to boot. And he's been at it for as long as I've been alive. He has worked with, among others, Led Zeppelin, Oasis, Twisted Sister, Bill Wyman, Kiki Dee, George Harrison, Robbie Williams, Wishbone Ash, Mark Owen, Paul Weller, Cliff Richard, The Firm, Jimmy Page, Barry White, and Chris Rea, of course. Oh yeah, and let's not forget Elton John. And he's even worked with Bad Company. But tonight, he's going to be great company, ladies and gentlemen. Orbiting our solar system is Stuart Epps. Welcome.
Wow, what a build-up. And I hope all those artists are here tonight. Elton, where are you? Who else from time to time? There's no kiddies in... There's my doctor. There's no kiddies. Do you remember the TV film Robin Hood? Robin Hood, Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Robin Hood, ladies and all right, that's enough. Exactly. Well, that, believe it or not, singing is Dick James. Dick James is singing that song. It became a big hit. And the incredible thing was that the guy that produced it was none other than George Martin. So when the Beatles were looking for a music publisher and a record deal, George said, go and see Dick James. He said, look, if you sign up with me, I can get them on the TV tomorrow. What was it? Thank You Lucky Stars or something or other. And they actually said, right, you can get the Beatles on Thank You Lucky Stars, you can have their publishing. Just like that. What was the Beatles publishing worth? Like a fortune, absolute fortune. And this is London, 1967. I mean, you know, I'm from Mill Hill and didn't really go up to London much. I certainly didn't know Soho, and now I'm right in the thick of it, really. And anyway, all the pop stars at the time used to go down Denmark Street. You'd see Jimi Hendrix there, all sorts of people. On the right-hand side, you've got some of the publishers there, and there's one there, Mills Music. And there was a young lad, went to work there as an office boy at Mills Music, and that's him. That's Reg Dwight. So, 1971 it looks like. I was still only about 18, I can't work that out, but you could probably work it out. I went on tour now, I was asked to go on tour with Elton, with Reg, looking after him really. I was a personal assistant on this, it was actually a 3-month tour, which was a bit amazing for an 18-year-old. And that's us at Carnegie Hall. But actually, one thing I remember is we went back to the hotel, you know, tired out. There's none of this party stuff after the show, you just want to get back. And I was probably in the room next to Elton. And in the middle of the night, I can hear all these screams. Anyway, apparently someone had given him a bottle of champagne, and he'd stuck it next to his bed, but it wasn't tied down properly, and it went off in the night. And he thought he'd been shot. Because it was a bit of a rough area where we were, and anyway, he was all right. It was 1973. Things really moved quite fast in those days, like I said. And we were getting a bit fed up it wasn't we were getting fed up, but we had this plan, Steve had this plan to start our own record label. So we started Rocket Records. And one of the first artists to be signed to Rocket Records was Kiki Dee.
Ain't got no trouble in my life, no foolish dream to make me cry. I'm never frightened or worried, I know I always get by.
And wow, this happened. Elton's doing a big tour of America. He offers Kiki to come on tour on a 3-month tour, supporting him on this American tour. Incredible, really. Because now Elton's doing quite well, because he's got his own plane, for goodness sake, so you can see that. And this is no ordinary 727. Look, that's inside the plane. You can believe it. As I say, it's called the Starship. The Rolling Stones used it, you know, and Led Zeppelin used it. So only big bands could afford But so we're moving on now. So I've got to tell you a bit of a story of what happened on this tour. Elton had been asked by John Lennon to play on this song, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, one of his tracks he was going to record. And Elton said, you know, they were sort of friends by now, he said, look, I'll play on this, but on one condition, if it gets to #1, you've got to join me on stage, okay? So John thinks, this is it's not even going to, it's horrible, I'm not even sure I like it. It's definitely not going to get to #1, I'm not bothered. Of course, it turns out, it got to #1, we're in the middle of a tour, we're about to play Madison Square Gardens, he rings up John, get over here, we're playing. So we had the amazing experience of John Lennon joining us on this plane for a day or two. All right, well, So the story is that because I'm such a Beatle fanatic, when John was at Madison Square, I was more or less hanging onto his shirt wherever he went. I was sort of with him as part of the management. And I ended up in the dressing room with him, and the woman he was with at the time was called May Pang. And it's just the three of us in there waiting to go on, waiting for the show. Anyway, there's a knock at the door. Because I'm management, I go and open the door. I open the door like this. Who's there? Yoko Ono. Yeah, that's what I did. I went, he's with another woman, there's going to be murders. I'm not letting her in. So I'm doing this. Anyway, there was a guy behind her who was sort of going, it's all right, and I knew him. So I thought, well, it must be all right. So I let her in, and it turns out they all know each other. So that all went well. Halfway through the tour, Elton very kindly gave us a holiday in Hawaii as a sort of a bit of a break from the tour. We were staying on this island, Maui it's called. Anyone been to Maui? No? Anyway, it was an amazing island. And after touring, obviously, it was great to unwind. And in fact, me and Clive, my mate, we went off on these motorbikes and sort of went a bit crazy, going around the island and meeting some of the islanders. And in fact, during that, we went to this club called the Maui Bell. And I met someone there. This is years ago, so there was no problems. But anyway, I met someone. I probably did fall in love a little bit. And I really took to Maui, I thought, and I was getting on now. I don't know if you can work out how old I was. 23. Oh, I'd done everything. As you can see, it was a hell of a journey. And I thought this is a place to retire to, basically. And, forget all the music business. Who needs that, And this woman that I met, she lived in an ice cream van, actually. That was where she lived. And I thought, that's ideal. This is for me. So I decided that that's what I was going to do. And in fact, I don't know what the time is or how long I've been talking for, but that brings us to the end, because it's not the end of the story, because there is more to come. But we're going to have a 20-minute break now, okay? And then we'll find out what he did, whether he stayed in the ice cream van. So thanks for listening. Go and get a drink. See you.